Hi, Beirut Buzzers, and welcome back to a new episode of Beirut Buzz, the podcast brought to you by Beirut.com. Last week, we had a conversation with two Lebanese parody musicians. They are known as G-Strings, so if you're looking to boost your mood, I advise you to give that episode a listen. This is your host, Lynn, and joining me today is an extreme sports athlete who base jumped from Habtoor Hotel's roof and base jumped the Metn highway a few months ago. His name is Mikel Khalil. Hi, Michel.
It's Michael. Hi,
It's Michael. Okay. أنا سألته على فكرة قبل الأبيزود لأنه اسمه على إنستغرام اسمه ميكال سألته is it ميكال وقال لي مايكل and I forgot that.
No, this is up my name. So you're joining a list of a lot of people who does this.
So thank you for joining me this early in the morning. I'm wondering, what is your morning routine like?
Despite what appearances may look on my Instagram, I'm a very lazy person. So by now I should be asleep. I should be still asleep. Wake up very late, have a fruit for breakfast, and finish up some work, and then figure out what to do the rest of the day. Mm-hmm. That's basically rituals.
Mm-hmm. So you're a base jumper / skydiver / surfer / skateboarder / slackline practitioner. Did I miss something?
Yeah. I climb, wakeboard, snowboard. Basically, if it's interesting, fun, cool, I've figured out a way to do it.
Mm-hmm. So which sport were you introduced to first?
I think skateboarding was the first thing I ever did, as in terms of what I do now. I started as a kid, maybe I was 12 when I got my first skateboard. I switched to breakdancing later on in my and one thing led to another, and now I'm base jumping.
Nice. Skateboarding is so hard. Like, I once watched a documentary called We Are Blood. Have you ever watched it?
No, but now I'm interested.
Yeah, it's a documentary about skateboarding. أول ما خلص الموفي I texted my friend وسألته من وين في يجيب skateboard so أعطاني رقم حدا. And I went to his shop. I bought a skateboard. It looks so easy. Because, like, it took me more than 2 months لحتى أقدر أوقف على skateboard or to cruise, basically.
Were you on, or was someone teaching you, or
my friends?
Okay, so my attitude about everything is so hard at the same time. It's just like you have to stick with it because the learning curve is different for each sport. Mm-hmm. You just have to figure out the way to stay interested in it, and it'll all from there, you know. I've taught a lot of people how to skate, how to surf, how to slackline, and really the ones who actually make it, figure out the way to do it, are the ones who stay interested in the sport. Because I've seen people give up on surfing which is usually the hardest session, and they just quit from then on. You know? Mm-hmm. They'll never be able to surf after it because that's it. Like, they lost interest. While I've seen other people struggle for months after months, and they're the best surfers I know now because they have this passion for the sport. So yeah, you just get a way to stay into whatever you're doing, and it'll be easy afterwards.
Thank you. That was the motivation I needed. So, do you teach any sport?
Not on purpose. Like, I don't take clients to teach them. It's just like if a friend of mine or someone I know is like, hey, can you teach me can you take me surfing? Can you take me skateboarding? Yeah, I'll take them. Mm-hmm. But not for money, you know. It's not my profession.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Michael, a lot of people know about skydiving and paragliding, but not many of them know about base jumping. Can you explain to us what is take briefly, and what is maybe the main difference between those three action sports?
Yes, of course. So that's why I'm still in Lebanon. I actually had the opportunity to leave a couple of years ago when the whole crisis happened. But I stayed mainly because I wanted to introduce this country and try to build on it. Base jumping is almost skydiving, where you're jumping, free falling for a bit and then opening parachute. The difference is with skydiving, you're jumping out of an airplane. So you have a lot of time going down. There's no obstacles in the way. It's just you and the skies. And diving with other people, then you're just playing around with other skydivers. Base jumping, you're much lower to the ground. So your margin of error is less. You have to be more careful because it's more dangerous. You have less time to correct something if something goes wrong. And that's mainly the difference between skydiving and base jumping. And this is why a lot of skydivers do not go into base jumping because it's so much more dangerous. And acronym, and it stands for building, antenna, span, and earth. So these are the jump that qualifies as base jump. You'll see a lot of jumps. Some of them are from a paraglider. Those are technically sky jumps because it's a moving object. It's in the sky. There's no obstacles around. So it's not technically a base jump. It's a skydive.
You said, I know you are here to introduce the Lebanese public to base jumping, and your About section on YouTube says you are the only base jumper based in Lebanon. Is this true?
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
I am the first and only base jumper here.
Wow, that's very impressive. Kamera, you said it's very dangerous. So you are putting your life at risk with every jump, basically. What is your parents' opinion about that?
My mom was terrified when I first started skydiving, even though skydiving is probably the safest thing you can do. It's safer than driving,
Mm-hmm.
So when I got into base, it was a whole different conversation. And yeah, she would never go see me base jump. Like I would show her videos of me skydiving, but she can't look at my base jump videos.
لهلا بعدها she can't look at your videos. Wow.
Sometimes try to force her just because if I do something very interesting, like a very cool jump, I'll be like so proud of myself. Hey mom, look at this. But yeah.
يعني انت وطالع من البيت بس شوفك رايح to base jump. شو
في مرة I found a building. The perfect time for me to jump it was at night because I didn't want to disturb the neighbor. Basically, I was breaking into the building.
Oh, okay.
And she saw me grabbing my... And she went to a tantrum. She was like, no, you're not doing this. You can't go at night. It's dangerous. You can't see what you're doing. It's like, listen, trust me. I've been doing this for years. So I'm assessing myself. I'm not taking irresponsible risk. Like it's all calculated. But yeah, when I walked out the door, she was like her face was white, like yellow, pale.
Okay, so you venture from Habtoor Hotel's roof and the Metn highway.
Yes.
What was going on inside your mind while jumping?
So the Metn highway, I've done it times. Like I think yesterday was my 8th jump from there, maybe even more. So that was kind of like a normal thing, I'm always scared before jumping. Like this is a given, and I have to be. They ask me like, don't you get scared or something? And I always tell them, the moment I stop being afraid of doing a jump is the moment I stop base jumping. And mainly because fear is beneficial, it keeps me alert, it keeps me aware of everything. So it keeps my guards up, basically. So I'm always afraid. But the Habtoor one, extremely more scary. It was more dangerous. Like So what happened with the Habtoor is I also broke in. I didn't ask for permission because that same day I tried asking permission from 4 different towers. I went to Sama Beirut, I went to Skygate, I went to a different boulevard. Sorry, the one in it's in the field 44, and none of them told me like, yeah, go ahead, do it. They all said no. So as I was leaving, I remember there was a bar tour on the 31st. I've been to a party there before. And I had my friend with me. I told him, hey, listen, one more thing. We'll go grab a drink at the 31 in Habtoor. Figure out the logistics of the jump. If it works, it works. If not, then we'll just have a drink. And that's what we did. We went to the bar, ordered a drink. It was empty. Talked to the bar. Listen, do you mind if I take a few photos from the balcony? He was like, yeah, sure, go. Put on my parachute. Didn't let anyone notice what I was. Went to the balcony, and I just went for it.
Oh my
The
God.
thing of the jump was it was also windy, but I knew if I didn't make that jump, I wasn't able to do it ever again because I basically burned the spot. Like you can't go back in, ask the bartender to go out to the balcony again, you know. So I had to do it, and I did it in less than ideal conditions, but it all worked out.
Okay. منيح إنه you had like few drinks, like it gave you.
Well, no, that's a bad thing. Like you should be sober when doing this, but yeah, I didn't drink.
Yeah. What was the most insane jump you've ever done? Is it this one? أو إنه في شيء هيك jump تانية?
So there's different jumps that are burnt into my memories. You know, not just base jumping, even skydives. The Habtoor one has been the most thrilling. Like till this day, it's the one that I had the most adrenaline rush from it. The scary. It was the first time jumping off a huge cliff. It was 600-meter down cliff, and just like pure. You're looking down at, I don't know, just mountains and mountains and mountains, and you're jumping. It was scary. The first time I did it was terrifying. And there was one wingsuit flight that I did skydiving in Spain where I broke my hand mid-air. So that was also
Mid-air?
an interesting, yeah.
How is that possible? Can you break a bone while falling down?
Yeah, so basically I crashed into my friend. We were doing a formation jump. We were doing 5 wingsuit jumps, and I screwed up my exit. So he opened his wings. He was going up. I still had my wings closed, so I was going down very fast. And I tried, but I ended up hitting him with my hand on his helmet. And yeah, I broke it immediately. So yeah. That was an interesting job. Thank you.
Did you videotape the jump in Italy? I would love to watch this.
Yeah, they're actually all of my programs, so you can go check them. It's one of the reels. You'll see me on a huge mountaintop, and yeah.
Okay, amazing. You also slackline. What was من أي أعلى محل you walked on a slackline عليه؟ ما بعرف حتى السؤال بس إنه ما بدي أفهم.
Yes, so the walking part is where I'll ask for more definition because we used to have, before the whole crisis happened, we used to have something called the Lebanese Highland Festival. And it's basically slacklining on, but nothing below you. So between 2 cliffs or between 2 mountains. And that was the highest I've walked, but I barely got 4 steps in because it's much more dangerous, much more scary. So it's a different approach. And I didn't have I didn't practice enough for it. Steps, maybe it was 400 meters below me of pure emptiness.
Oh my God. There's a festival for that?
Yeah. like once you get into these kind of sports, like one thing leads to the other, and you start meeting new interesting people. Like this festival, I think we were a group of 10 Lebanese people, and the rest were all foreigners. You meet German people coming from Germany, Switzerland, the US. Like came here to Lebanon just for this festival.
Wow. What's the name of the festival again?
Well, it's not active anymore, but I think if you go on Facebook or Instagram, it's called the Lebanese Highland Festival.
Okay, nice. Okay, so for people who want to try any action sport, what piece of advice would you give them?
Just start. You have no idea how many times I've had this conversation with my friends where, like, oh, I wish I could do what you're doing, but I don't have any money now, or I don't have time now. The thing is, I started all of like this journey towards base jumping. I started it 6 years ago, back when the economy was still kind of okay. You know, everything was kind of fine. When everyone was telling me, oh, you should save up your money, you know, get married, build a house, put them in the bank for interest, whatever. I didn't want to live my life and enjoy it. I wanted to have fun. So I started skydiving, surfing, scuba diving, like I did everything. And now, like you can tell, but their money is stuck in the banks. They can't afford anything. It's a very sad reality. Everything I do now is for free. Like I go surfing free. I have my own board. I have the whole equipment. I go base jumping for free. You know, I'm starting paragliding now with the Gravity Advisors, and like because of my base jumping career and everything, like I'm getting a special on my flights. So now I'm living my life almost free of charge, and I'm doing all these interesting things. And that's the one advice I give to everyone. Now is the moment. Like every day you postpone it is one day that you're gonna lose momentum towards the sport.
Speaking about money, it says, how expensive is it to start base jumping, for example, or any?
Everything else is not expensive. Slackline, you'll get a slackline for maybe $100 from Decathlon, and that's it. Like that's all you need. Skateboarding, same thing. My board, $150, and it's been with me for 5 years. Base jumping, different because in order to base jump, you need to be a skydiver first, and skydiving is the most expensive thing you can ever do. We have a joke in the skydiving community. It's skydiving is more expensive than a coke addiction, gambling addiction, you know, and it's more dangerous than all of the above. So it's the worst kind of addiction you could have, but it's the most fun as well.
The healthiest, I think.
The healthiest, yeah. Well, I mean, healthiest is but
yeah. So do you have any like big project coming next?
I have quite a few actually. So like I said, I'm doing paragliding now with Gravity Advisors. So we're trying to create something. Like I can't give out any more information about this, but what we're trying to do is build around this community, this flying community here in Lebanon, and expand it even more. So that's one of. Also doing something where, so I'm the only Lebanese base jumper, but there have been base jumps here in Lebanon before. I think we can all remember Red Bull flew over the cedars. There's also an American base jumper who jumped Balua Bala in Tanurine, and also the Four Seasons Hotel. So what I'm trying to do now is reclaim those spots, you know, that other people jumped. I want to jump again and make them done by a Lebanese person. So kind of like bring it back.
Mikel, we wish you the best of luck. Like, you know, thank you so much for joining me on this episode. Thank you for your energy. And for, yes.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say this was fun.
It was fun. So for everyone who wants to see more stunts done by Michael, go to his Instagram and follow him at Mikel.
It's basically the way I explain my Instagram. It's Mike add LKH at the end. So Mike LKH. That's it.
Yeah. So thank you, Michael, for joining us, and for everyone who tuned in. We hope you enjoyed this conversation. The Beirut Buzz podcast is brought to you by Beirut.com and is available on Apple and Google Podcasts.